This training is about the single most important distinction in sales psychology, the line between assertive and pushy. Most agents either don't know the line exists, or they're so afraid of crossing it that they sit on the wrong side of it permanently. Either mistake costs you the same thing, the sale, and worse, the client outcome. Here's the working definition. Assertive is acting in the client's best interest with confidence, even when they're hesitating. Pushy is acting in your own interest with pressure, regardless of whether it serves them. Same energy in the room, completely different intent. The client can feel the difference even when they can't articulate it. Why this matters comes down to one uncomfortable truth. The agent who never gets called pushy is almost never the top producer. They're usually the agent who lets every prospect drift, who takes every soft no at face value, who mistakes passivity for politeness. The top of the leaderboard isn't crowded with quiet, agreeable agents. It's crowded with assertive ones who learned where the line is and stay on the right side of it on purpose. The cost of being too passive is invisible to most agents because it doesn't sting. Nobody calls you pushy when you cave. Nobody complains. They just don't buy. They don't refer. And they end up with a worse plan from someone who is willing to actually sell. You feel like you respected them. They actually got worse care because you didn't have the conviction to guide them. Now dissolve the fear. Most agents are terrified of being the sleazy salesperson the public hates. The reframe is simple. Pushy and sleazy aren't about volume or persistence. They're about intent. A doctor who insists you finish your antibiotics isn't pushy. A doctor who insists you buy a supplement they sell is. Same words, totally different posture. Your clients can tell the difference. They can't always articulate it, but they feel it instantly. If you genuinely believe the recommendation is right for them, you can be very direct without ever crossing into pushy. If you don't, even the softest pitch will feel slimy. The agents who master assertive without sliding into pushy win in 3 ways. They close more business, they get more referrals because clients respect the experience, and they sleep well at night because they know every recommendation came from the right place. Here's the 4-signal framework. These are the 4 observable behaviors that separate assertive from pushy in real time. You can audit yourself on any call using this list. Signal 1, intent. Assertive agents ask themselves silently before every recommendation, is this what I'd want for my own parent? Pushy agents ask themselves, is this the one that pays the most or closes fastest? Same recommendation can come out either way, depending on which question you asked first. The client can feel which one it was. Signal 2, pace. Assertive agents move at the speed of clarity. They slow down when the client is confused, speed up when the client is ready, and never rush either way. Pushy agents move at the speed of their own urgency. They talk faster when the client hesitates, push past objections instead of addressing them, and treat the close as a finish line they have to cross before the prospect has time to think. The pace gives them away every time. Signal 3, listening ratio. Assertive agents listen more than they talk, especially in the first 10 minutes. They ask questions, they let answers breathe, and they take notes. Pushy agents talk over the prospect, finish their sentences, and treat questions as obstacles to overcome, rather than information to gather. If you walk away from a call and you don't know 3 new things about the prospect's situation, you weren't assertive, you were performing. Signal 4, response to no. This is the cleanest tell. Assertive agents hear no and ask one clarifying question to understand what the no actually means. Pushy agents hear no and immediately pivot to a counterpitch designed to overcome it. Assertive treats no as information. Pushy treats no as resistance. The client knows which one they're getting within about 2 seconds of saying the word. 4 signals: intent, pace, listening ratio, response to no. Run any sales conversation through that filter, and you'll know exactly which side of the line you were on. The good news is all 4 are observable, learnable, and fixable. None of them are personality traits. They're choices. Now let's get tactical. There are 3 specific moments in almost every sales conversation where assertive agents make one choice, and pushy agents make a different one. These are the pivot points. If you can recognize them in real time, you can stay on the right side of the line on purpose, every time. Pivot 1, the hesitation moment. The prospect pauses, says something like, I don't know, this is a lot to take in. The pushy move is to fill the silence with more pitch, more features, more urgency. The assertive move is to pause with them. Something like totally fair. This is a real decision. What part feels like the most? Then stop talking and let them tell you. Pushy fills silence. Assertive uses it. Get comfortable with 3 full seconds of silence, and you'll close more deals than you ever did with another paragraph of pitch. Pivot 2. The objection moment. The prospect says no, or not yet, or I need to think about it. The pushy move is to immediately counter, here's why you should reconsider. Here's why now is the right time. The assertive move is to ask one clarifying question. You say something like, totally understand. Can I ask what's making you want to wait? Now you're not arguing with their objection. You're trying to understand it. About half the time, the answer is something you can solve in the next sentence. The other half, you've earned the right to a thoughtful follow-up instead of a defensive end of call. Either way, you stayed assertive without sliding into pushy. Pivot 3. The close moment. You've made the recommendation. The numbers fit. The prospect is on the fence. The pushy move is to pile on closing techniques limited time, last chance, everyone else is doing it. The assertive move is to ask for the decision directly. You say something like, based on everything we've talked about, this is the right plan for you, and I'm confident in that. Do you want me to write it up? That's it. No urgency tricks. No fear pressure. Just direct. Direct is not pushy. Direct is respectful. The client knows you've done the work and you believe in the answer. Most prospects respond to that with a yes more often than they respond to any closing technique ever invented. Let me walk you through how this looks in a real-life insurance call. The prospect is Tom, 58, married, 2 adult kids. You're recommending a term policy that covers the gap until his retirement assets fully fund his wife's needs. He listens to your full presentation and then says, yeah, I just don't know if I need this right now. Pushy agent jumps in with, here's why you absolutely need it now. Premiums only go up from here. What happens to your wife if you pass next month? All technically true. All lands as pressure. Tom shuts down. Assertive agent pauses. Says something like, fair enough. That's a decision worth taking seriously. Can I ask what makes it feel like maybe not right now? Tom thinks and says, my wife has her own income, and I figure if something happened to me, she'd be fine. That answer just told you everything. Tom isn't objecting to life insurance. He's questioning the need. The assertive move is to test the assumption gently. You say something like that makes sense, and a lot of folks I talk to think about it the same way. Quick question, if something happened to you tomorrow, what would your wife's monthly income be on her own, and what does your household run today? Tom does the math out loud and realizes there's a 40% gap, not a small gap. You don't celebrate. You don't pivot to a hard close. You just say something like, okay, that's exactly the gap this policy covers. The number we're talking about today is roughly the cost of 1 dinner out per month, and it closes that gap completely until your retirement assets catch up. Based on that, this is the right plan, and I'm confident in that. Do you want me to write it up? Tom enrolls. You won that business not because you pushed harder. You won it because you stayed assertive when most agents would have either backed off or piled on. You honored his hesitation, asked one clarifying question, and let his own math make the case. Here's your action step. Before your next 3 sales calls, write the 4 signals on a sticky note next to your phone. Intent, pace, listening ratio, response to no. After each call, score yourself 1 through 5 on each. The act of grading yourself in real time retrains your instincts faster than any training will, including this one. Agents who master this don't become smoother. They become more honest. And honest, confident, and direct beats every smooth pitch in the industry. Assertive is what professionals owe their clients. Pushy is what amateurs do when they don't trust the recommendation. Pick a side on purpose and stay there.